He is an ex-student of Keele, and he goes by the name of Vic Foodtree. Make some noise!
Hello! This is weird. They put me on a poster for this here, no pressure. So, I don't know about most of you guys, and for students especially, but when I was still a student here, I was one of those students who could cook. You get those students, right, and they come here, they come to the university, their first time away from home, and they can't fry an egg, they can barely boil a kettle, they can't even operate a toaster. I wasn't one of those. See, the problem is, I can't go to supermarkets anymore, right? I just don't like being judged. The first time I go to Tesco on my own, I get what I believe is a fairly standard student meal, right? It's just a bunch of standard shop, right? I get some pasta, get some bacon, get some cheese, get a single piece of fruit so I can say to my parents, no, look, Mum, Dad, I'm having a healthy diet, lots of fruits and vegetables. Crate of Guinness and 16 packets of bacon flavoured instant super noodles. So I get to the checkout, and about instant noodle packet number 10, the checkout lady looks at me, just with pure disappointment in her eyes, and says, "Oh, Doc, you gotta learn to cook." Oh my God. Yeah, she was calling me. Now, on any other day, right, I would understand it's social thing, right? Kind of madly slight chuckle, try to brush it off. On that day, something changed. I looked at this woman and I said, okay, two things. First, not a duck. I know the resemblance is uncanny. I'm just not one. Second, did you just insult super noodles in my presence? No one insults super noodles in my presence. Because if you had super noodles how I had super noodles, you would no longer judge them. If you had super noodles how I had super noodles, you would realise they could be a meal. If you had super noodles how I had super noodles, with bacon and garlic and ginger, coriander, herbs and spices you haven't even heard of, your mouth would love you forever. I'll make you super noodles. I'll do it tonight. Friday night, I'm making super noodles. That's my number. I'm making you super noodles. So that's how I got my first girlfriend. Go figure. So, yeah, I should probably explain, right, there's a very conspicuous piece of paper down there, and the problem is I learned most of what I know about performing from musicians, so set list. But, the problem is, I come from a family of musicians, most of my, a lot of my social circle, they're musicians, and I just can't really join those ranks. For a couple of reasons. The first is I don't play the guitar. Now, does anyone here play guitar? Okay, all of you with your hands raised, every single one of you, you did it for one reason. It might not be your only reason, it might not even be your main reason, but you all share this reason. You did it to get babes. Female guitarists, or just those of you who are into guys, male babes, those exist. Bass guitarists, different type of babe. Drummers, very different type of babe. Yeah, I play the accordion. Women never swoon at the accordion. But the other reason I kind of ditched the music is because the few classics I do know, right? The few songs that the few songs I can play, the few songs that people really kind of know and that raise their fingers to the ceiling and go, yes, I know this song. I just can't pull off. I know what I sound like. I'm not trying to sell you PPI insurance. You could save £5,000 a month, but... Yeah. So, if we take the objectively greatest song in the world, Hey Ya by Outkast, we'd get to that beatdown section near the end, and I'd be up here, I'd be on a stage with a music-loving crowd, forced to say, all right now, fellas, I said what's cooler than being cool. I can't quite hear you, I said what's cooler than being cool. All right, now, ladies, I'd like to see you all on your backs behaviour. Let me some sugar for... I am your neighbour. Shake it, shake, shake it, shake it, shake, shake it, shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture, I said, hey, young. you here off campus or ever have been? Some of you, okay. Now, have any of you heard of the off-campus place that this university offers called Liberty Court? Okay. When I first came to this university, I was in Liberty Court, in the middle of Shelton. And for those of you who don't know it, and those of you who do, you'll know there's a canal that runs all the way by. Now, at this point in my life, it's my first time away from home. It's my first time using buses, first time trying to navigate a new county, and my first time with alcohol. So, fairly early on, 5 pints down and I'm gone. I'm a lightweight even for my size. And this, I tried getting the bus home. And I missed my stop. I'm one too early. It's the last bus home. I'm way too embarrassed to call a taxi at this point. But you know what? It's fine. I'll just walk the rest of the way. It's only one stop. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why. I ended up by the side of this canal. I think all is not lost, for that block of flats overlooks the canal. So if I just walk by this canal, eventually I will find home. So I'm walking by this canal, and eventually I see a group of people and think, I'm saved! As I approach, the crowd parts. Turns out they're crowding around something. They're crowding around someone. A tall man in a long black cloak and a white collar. I've just found a priest. Instantly I'm regretting thinking I've been saved because that's just too ironic a choice of words. He looks at me with bitter contempt in his eyes and says, "You, sir, are you ready to find Jesus?" Now, I'm not a religious man. Never have been. Probably never will be. But I'm 5 pints gone and a lightweight, so I look at this man and say, "You know what, sure." So he takes my hand, he puts it into this canal, right? Gives a bit of a shake for good measure. Wrenches me out, holds my head in his hands and says, "Now, sir, have you found Jesus?" No, I haven't. And he's a bit confused at this point, right? Understandably so. So he puts my head, he puts it in again. Bit longer this time, bit more vigorous a shake. Wrenches me out, holds my head in his hands and says, "Now, sir, have you found Jesus?" No, I haven't. Now, in hindsight, I probably embarrassed this guy in front of his little congregation. I didn't know that at the time. All I knew at the time is he was taking my head and putting it in a third time, even longer. I can't breathe. There's bubbles escaping on the side of my face. My life is flashing before my eyes. It's really rather boring, to be honest with you. And just before everything goes black, he wrenches me out, throws me to the floor. I'm coughing, I'm spluttering, there's water coming out my ears. And he looks at me and says, "Now, sir, please, have you found Jesus? Are you sure this is where we fell in?" So, as I said, most of the time, right, I kind of associate with a lot of musicians, and day to day, I walk around with them. There's like massive, obnoxious headphones around my neck, around your neck, big blue with a big band around the side. It would be Beats by Dre, but I have just added a little bit of dignity. But the issue with that is you start listening to music a lot more, and you start thinking that some songs are just way too creepy for this world. For instance, Britney Spears, "Hit Me Baby One More Time." No offense, love, if you're into that, that's cool, but we're not at that stage in our relationship. Year 3000 by Busted. Flux capacitor or no, my great-great-great-granddaughter is way too young for you. Stay the hell away from my family, you creep. Living La Vida Loca, which, if you really think about it, she'll make you go insane like a bullet to the brain. It's just a gender for 50 Shades of Grey. There's a line in that song. That song genuinely has a line. "She took my heart and she took my money. She must have slipped me a sleeping pill." No offense, I don't need drugs to fall asleep. I just need a nice little cup of hot chocolate. The worst offender for this, though, is a classic with a simple assertion. Girls just want to have fun. I have found out that this is not entirely true. Apparently, they also need feeding. trending subject of Google, the famous search engine, owners of YouTube, and makers of the Android phone used by your mate who says, I didn't buy an iPhone because I didn't want to give money to a corporation. Now, Google, they're fucking terrifying, right? Absolutely terrifying. This is a company who have access to military technology. Not military grade. Fucking drones and guns, machine bombs. This company have military technology, and they are also hiring researchers to train robots to have the power of imagination. I'm not saying you need to have seen the entire Terminator franchise to realize this is a bad idea, but it might just help. But the thing is, not everyone's as pessimistic about this as I am. You know, I bring this up to some people and they get really philosophical on me. They'll say, what kind of art could only a robot paint? They'll say, what kind of music could only a robot compose? What kind of books, what kind of literature could only a robot dream of? Except the thing is, we all know it's going to be porn, don't we? The problem is, right, technology, the more it grows, we're going to make it more and more human-like. And let's face it, humans, we're obsessed. Paintings happen. The first form of communication, non-verbal, that we passed down from generation to generation, and what's the first time we draw pictures of boobs? I might be skipping a bit here, but the Amazon Kindle comes out. You can have hundreds of books, thousands, the entire works of Shakespeare, and the classics in a space that thick. And what's the best-selling book on that thing? 50 Shades of fucking Grey. 3D printing comes about, and what's the first thing that makes sex toys? Human beings as a species, every time we find some wonderful new technology, the first thing we think is, can I stick my dick in it? I should really apologise for that last remark. You know, we live in 2017 now. It's a modern age, both men and women should be able to express these things. So I'll just rephrase that last remark. Every time we find some wonderful new technology, the first thing we think is, can I stick my dick in it? What can I stick inside me? There, universe, we're karmatically even. But I have the feeling that all these like robots or erotica novels, they're always going to follow the same basic structure, right? It'll always begin with, start on safe mode, this is my first time. We'll get part way through, and you'll go, man, they've been lying to me about what 6 gigabytes looks like my entire life. Okay, you laughed a little bit too hard at that one. But it'll always end the same deeply tragic way. I'm sorry. We're just incompatible. You're a PC, and I run iOS. I operate solo. You may have established at this point that I don't quite have the whole normal thing down. But damn it, I tried. When you guys left for university, did you get the pre-university advice? So my brother did. My brother got the advice. He was told, just work hard and everything will be okay. He was told, don't drink too much. And he was told, just be yourself and I'm sure you'll make lots of friends. 3 years later, it's my turn. My dad turns to me and says, son, just work hard and I'm sure everything will be fine. My brother turned to me and said, look, mate, just drink, get drunk, it's how everyone socialises, just avoid Jaeger bombs, because those are the nights you don't remember and quite frankly don't want to. My mum, bless her heart, said, just try and hide the you for a while until you have some friends. I wish I were lying about that one. And I did try, right? 6 days I lasted. Day 6. And I'm making what I believe to be a fairly standard meal. Pasta with bacon and cheese. So I boiled up the pasta, I fried it with bacon, cut it up, grated the cheese, because my first week away from home I don't realise how much of a bore it is to grate cheese by hand. And I assemble it all, put it in the microwave. At that point, my flatmate walks in. Now, it's important to remember that if I'm standing not on the stage, this guy's as tall as me on the stage, with sheer blue hair and piercing blue eyes. This is terrifying. Probably bad time to mention this guy's actually in the audience right now, but we'll leave that aside. And he walks in and says, "Oh, what are you doing?" "I'm just making dinner." "What are you making?" "Pasta, bacon, cheese." "Where's it in the microwave?" "To melt the cheese." He says to me, "Well, why didn't you stick it under the grill then?" Now, in hindsight, if I could do that week again, I would have said something like, "Well, if you stick it under the grill, it's got a different consistency, and more stringy texture gets in the microwave." Yeah, that's not quite what I said. I looked at this man who I'd known for less than a week dead in the eyes and said, "But the microwave goes in." So this is how Mary Poppins once tried to kill me. See, I was in the Students' Union just downstairs. And, as I say, I wear massive obnoxious headphones. So I'm listening to music. And I get overtaken by a bit of a Disney mood. I listen to Be Prepared from The Lion King. Everything's fine. I listen to Hellfire from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Everything's fine. I listen to The Bare Necessities from The Jungle Book, and everything's better than fine, because that song's amazing. Then the live action stuff happens. I listen to The Old Bamboo from Chi 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 Bang Bang. Everything's fine. Then I listen to Chim Chimney from Mary Poppins. And for those of you who don't know, for those of you musically inclined, you may realise that Chim Chimney is a song in 3/4 time. And a bunch of you are now singing in your head going, "Oh yeah, it is." For those of you who also know these things, you may have realised that songs in 3/4 time, well, that's a waltz. And being a secret romantic, ladies, when I hear a waltz, I must dance. So I take off into Kiel Woods to dance. I'm not going to dance in public, geez. And you can visit this place if you like, It was a muddy day. So I'm there, I'm waltzing through muddy patches through trees, muddy patches without trees. And this place is still there. I go through a slightly less muddy patch. The song is still looping in my head, on the headphones. It's still looping. And the next thing I know, I've fallen into a hole. And I try and wrench my first foot out, right? Move it a bit close to what conceivably is a bank. Of course, by that time, that foot's in deeper. So I try and wrench that one out and move it closer to the bank. At that point, the first foot's in even deeper. At that point, I have this realization. Oh God, I'm going to drown in this. This is how I actually die. I'm going to die like the dinosaurs in the tar pits. Admit it, those are the ones you judge. As I sink deeper into this hole, that's when I smell it. It wasn't mud I fell into. Thank you, I've been hanging there for a while. That's my first But the song's still playing at this point, and I'm struggling my way back to the regular mud. Eventually I managed to claw my way onto this bank. And as I'm there, thanking my lucky stars I didn't just drown in feces. That's when the song, still looping, has the sheer nerve, the gall, to play the lyric. Good luck will rub off when I shake hands with you. I wish I really packed one up. So, I don't do this full time. I do actually have a regular office job. And, it's one of those things that, my parents, they don't exactly approve of what I do. I work for the gambling industry, and they want me to do something more noble with my life, right? They want me to turn the benefits to people that help the greater world. They wanted me to be a doctor. And I turned and I said, look, I'm not going to be a doctor, right? At the end of the day, I'm a tiny Indian bloke. Right? It's 2050, we're meant to be fighting the stereotypes, not enforcing them. So now I work in a call centre. And I've even done my time in customer services. And over all that time, I am hugely proud to say I've only ever told one lie to a customer. Just one. And I didn't even realise I was lying about it until I was called out. I was on the phone with this customer, about to go into their account, and I said, I'd be more than happy to do that for you. He said, really? More than happy? Come on, be a bit more creative than that. How do you really feel? Are you really more than happy? I said to this woman, not really. I mean, I'm willing to do it. It's my job to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm not more than happy to do it. I'm never more than happy about anything. I'm a misery guts. I wake up and I'm miserable. I leave the house and I'm miserable. I come home and I'm miserable. I go to bed and I'm miserable. I rarely even reach happy, let alone more than happy. I once had sex with two people at the same time. I don't strike you at the time, and I've got to say both her and her husband were lovely. But on that day, I just about reached all right. This woman on the phone then responds, says, by any chance, what are you doing when you're just not in the office? I say, this is basically what I do. So I've got to ask, are you a teacher? So how did you know? Well, because only a teacher about that pedantic about language. She says to me, when you're not in the office here, are you a gigolo? I'm sorry, what? Why would you say such a thing? Because only a gigolo is that much of a dick. Now, I've got to admit, I did the kind of most traditional thing you can do as a student, right? Went to school, did uni, got the degree, got myself a job in a house. And for any of you considering following the same dull path in life, I developed a list of what to do. Should you wish to have a house of your own, should you get a job? And it starts with a very simple step. Google houses. Then Google houses to buy. Then you've got to realise that you've got to be more specific about the area. I want to stay in Stoke, so houses to buy, Stoke. See nice house, see price, feel crushing disappointment. I don't know, the rest of, a good portion of this list just follows the same three pattern. At that point you realise you need a mortgage. So you go to a mortgage advisor. You go through your finances. Get told that you don't spend enough money on food to get a credit rating. Eat Pokemon card in front of mortgage advisor to convince them that it's food. They taste vile. That was the crab one. Tastes just as vile. Get some water for that one. It's easy to forget. I'll finish it later. That one backfired a little bit there. Yeah. And yes, every word for this is actually written on the list. Get approved somehow. Dance in front of the advisor. Realise only now you can't dance. That wasn't on the list originally. Find house in budget. Get told that, go about 30% below asking price. Panic. Await crunch time. Panic again. Go 3k lower because you're panicked. Get accepted. Power slide across a state agent floor. Forget how much that really hurts your knees. Realise you're going to be in debt for the next 25, 30 years of your life. Panic again. Tell friends the news. Continue to panic. Wonder what to do with life next. Play Pokemon cards. Now, I've got to be honest with you, that's saying out here for the rest of the show, the rest of my set, by the way. I've only got one more joke to tell. So, as it's not my first job I've ever had, but it's better than my first job. Because there are a lot of people in this world who deserve our respect for what they do, right? The army, they deserve our respect. Doctors and nurses, they deserve our respect. Firefighters, the emergency services, they deserve our respect. Teachers, they deserve our respect. Unless you're my brother, then you're a twat. But there's one group of people who don't get enough respect. And that's the service industry. Your bar staff, your waiters, your chefs, they don't get enough respect in this world. I say this because I spent a miserable time of my life as a chef in a restaurant. I say chef. I was actually more like dessert guy. My entire purpose was to take desserts out of boxes. Sometimes I put them in the microwave, and just occasionally, I'd add ice cream. I hate ice cream. Not the flavour, I'm sure the flavour's lovely. You know, so if ice cream were a person, I would punch it in the throat. See, ice cream in restaurants comes in two consistencies, right? Pouring and solid. Now, pouring, I can't serve to a customer. Solid, well, when you've got the muscle mass of a slug with a wasting illness, I can't serve that to a customer. A busy Saturday night occurs, and the orders start piling up. And you know, admitting your order, when things get a bit of a rush, you start cutting a few corners, right? I'm not washing my hands between every dessert preparation. Bit of ice cream, yeah, wipe it on my shirt. You know, a bit of chocolate frosting, right? Yeah, got a spare cheek for that. I had far less of a beard back then. Right now, the only beard I can grow is to randomly stop and search. But bit of sorbet, other side of the face. The cream from the top of banoffee pie, yeah, can go through the hair, no issues there. Rhyming unintentional, rhyming not retracted. But the night wears on, and eventually I just can't cope anymore. I snap, and I stop. My manager soon walks in. Now, I'm pretty sure my manager expected me to find me slacking off in the corner and say, come on, Vic, you know, orders are piling up, get to it. Yeah, that's not quite what my manager found. My manager walks in to find me in the corner, my shirt looking like tie-dye from the flavours of ice cream emanating outwards. Chocolate frosting covering one side of my face, a mixture of blood and sorbet running down the other side of my face, the cream from Noppy Pie strewn through my hair, and I'm in the corner somebody screaming, ice cream! Ice cream! Ice cream! So 2 weeks later, I'm unemployed. But it's why I respect people in that industry so much, because anybody who can work that kind of job for more than 4 months and not leave with the nickname Banoffee Cry is worthy of my respect. Thank you very much and good night.